We are bringing you live the final heat of round one. P.Clemente from Peru, N.Jones from Australia, and J.Constable. As we're seeing, P.Clemente, surfer, shaper, and super generous human being, loaning out his boards to some of the other competitors since it's been just carnage out here on the equipment as he just climbs out the top. I really like his choice of an exit there. Good first wave. Again, in pretty good conditions this morning. It looks like we're going to go directly into round two. There is J.Constable.
All right, so nice opening nose ride. Digs that rail in a little bit too far on the cutback, and he'll just flick out of that one. Man, that is just one thing that can really get in your mind on a wave, too, as we see J.Constable. So nice hooked in hang five, but doesn't quite find...
Well, you definitely get your boards figured out if you go over there. Looks like we have a nice set. And we've got N.Jones. Nick is riding his single fin this morning. Just gets comes unstuck on that one. Got a little off-weighted on that.
A little surprised to see him on a single fin straight out the gates, being that the conditions are bigger. But he obviously rides that often enough at home. Anyways, as we see P.Clemente composed as ever. I love that hood ornament hang 10. That's so well known of P.Cle's style. Coming out.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just was going to say you can see that wind starting to play a little bit of a factor into things. The face of the wave's getting a little bit more bumpy.
0.2 for Josh and P.Cle with a 4.33. And here we go again. J.Constable. His work is, see how his footwork is here. Big, powerful surfer. Nice, smooth, wrapping around cutbacks. Looking at that wave going down the line. There's definitely a young man who's excited about the WSL. You can laugh and giggle with him in the morning or in the evening as they're getting ready to bed. So priority there with P.Clemente, and you saw him wisely use it as he commits to another full nose ride right there. We'll see a smooth cutback, I'm sure, wrapping it around into the whitewater. This wave is going to set up for him on the inside. Again, they're hanging on the edge of that right. I knew it was an island. I knew there would be some surf. I just didn't realize how good the surf would be here and how tropical and lovely, and the people are fantastic, the food. I mean, what a unique surf destination this is. It's definitely worth a visit if you have any chance of being in this part of the world.
It really is. We love coming back to Taiwan every year. This is my 4th year back, November every year, the end of the year for this event.
Kicks him out in the channel nicely for an easier paddle back out. As Ben Skinner was saying, trying to avoid having to duck dive too much.
We see a paddle from N.Jones. So riding that single fin, like you said, broke his board originally, finding his feet, nice stuck in hang five on that second one. Little shuffle going back to the nose, and can see that that board's definitely affecting his local break. And a replay from N.Jones, kind of this power and this speed. You would have been hoping for a nice snappy cutback. As we see P.Clemente is just stuck on that hang 10. He is so solid, so composed. Nice and loose, back to the foam, finding himself into that pocket again, just trying to stay with that wave in that power section. Gets a little frothy for him on the inside, and he'll have an easy paddle out.
But he had a great score on his previous wave. That's the highest score of the heat so far, 6.17. And again, it's those committed nose rides where he stands up real clean, real tall, gets the 5, then locks in a really nice composed 10. Doesn't seem rushed, and that he was rewarded with a 6.17 for that. So we'll see how his next score drops.
Hold for a little while, let that wind clear off, and we had a beautiful day of surf as we see a replay from J.Constable. So nice, cruisy hang 5 to start off with. Like you said, this will be a guy very happy to see the event.
The other waves he'd already been kind of running, and that was the first one that, you know, in my opinion, he properly set up, and that's why it looked good, probably will score well. And that's why P.Clemente is a world champion, and that's why he's leading the heat. Those nose rides on boards that he shapes himself, I love seeing the surfer shapers, the Stephen Sawyers. You know, when we have those types of athletes out here, it kind of adds an element of elegance to the whole thing.
Surfing from N.Jones, and a replay here from P.Cle. That perfect stand tall hang 10. Comes through that frothy section, still nice and critical. Gets
and
that
he
big
stayed
rebound.
5 through that section, and that was what's so nice. He came off the 10 and kept 5 there, which really shows you that control, and he was using it as a speed move instead of going back to the tail to pump. To me, that's a roller coaster, right? It's going up and over that white water. He's not trying to smash the lip. He's just using it, instead of going down and below it, roller coastering over it. Really classy.
Speaking of classy, great turn from J.Constable. Getting that little tap to the nose. Back into the foam again.
We see J.Constable getting a nice nose ride, but not that big of a wave, and you can see how much white water there is in the face of it. So Piccolo, his last wave, the highest scoring wave of the heat so far, is 6.83. So P.Clemente with those clean, committed, hang 10.
N.Jones straight into that critical section. Can he get through this froth? Just kind of cruising along, standing tall, knowing that wave's not going to offer him much else.
So yeah, that last wave for Nick came through as a 4.40. So wasn't the biggest wave, but the way he set up that nose ride and how critical it was gave him a really nice solid score.
Harley Ingleby up against the local Rory McDonald, so that guy, he's going to know this wave probably better than anyone else, as we see live action with J.Constable flying by on the nose in the start. Nice little check turn off the top, little rebound as well, and he'll just continue to cruise around this section, keeping things nice and loose and controlled.
5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go.
5 minutes on the clock. He's now in that channel with an easy paddle back out.
So much wind. Josh getting a really nice nose ride, which shows why we got that. I'm going to have to give him a demerit for the shuffle back there on the tail. Go talk to him about that after the heat. Nice little drop knee there. You know, the tide has turned, so it's starting to pull out a little bit, and that might have something to do with that, as we see Piccolo give that a quick look. So a priority switch there. N.Jones now has priority with 4.5 minutes left. Quick in and out waves there for Piccolo. Saying.
N.Jones, little shuffle as well, but
Yeah.
nice nose ride to start off with. Little check off the top. Little drop knee cut back.
And you just end up with a single fin. You're going to draw a slightly different line, and you just have to get yourself into that mode.
Yep.
That you're going to draw that turn into a different place. And once you are there and get that rhythm back, then everything's going to be a lot easier.
Deliver it to me in Japan and ride it in South Africa. A little tricky to get things there, but
If you just let me know, I would have brought you one.
well, I needed it, earlier than this event. So I've been riding that this winter in South Africa. It's been really fun. As we see N.Jones looking lively, so it does seem like he's finding his rhythm now. Like you said, drawing a different line, going with what that board is calling for.
Yeah. He's got priority. Nobody even near him threatening for that. Again, a couple of nice steps. Then he gets into a shuffle as he does that powerful roundhouse cutback. A little snap in that drop knee turn, which was a nice little bit of flair. And J.Constable priority out in the middle, which means that N.Jones ran away on that other peak that was out there. So he gets a nice 5 there, composed, and then that cutback, that little shuffle back at the last bit. It's a beautiful wraparound cutback into the whitewater, definitely on the more progressive end of the turns, into a keeper score line for him. You see Nick with that really nice sweeping drop knee turn there. That worked out really well.
Yeah, I love that turn to set up straight into the nose ride. That's his third now. Straight back on it. Little drop knee just to keep himself in that power pocket.
He knows he's running out of time. He'll probably might even just bring it in. Score to see from Nick to see how all that worked with those nose rides. Piccolo there as well, getting a finishing wave to come in before the hooter.
So really good kind of warm-up heat here for Piccolo. He'll advance into round 3, as you said, with just 30 seconds on the clock. Kicks out. He's looking nice and loose, comfortable. He has surfed this spot many a time before. Have another score coming through for him. N.Jones manages a 5.5 for that last one, puts him into second place. J.Constable in third. Still a score to come through for P.Clemente, but it's not going to change the situation. So Piccolo advancing into round 3, Nick and Josh advancing into those last 2 heats of round 2.